After giving Samuel to God, Hannah didn't weep, she sang. Her prayer was now a song of joy and praise. My heart rejoices in the Lord. There is no one like our God. She focused on God's goodness, not her loss. Her faith brought her unshakable joy. God blessed Hannah with more children, 3 sons and 2 daughters. Her once empty home overflowed with laughter. Each year, she visited Samuel, bringing him a new robe. Samuel grew up to be a great prophet, guiding Israel. Hannah's faith blessed not just her family, but a whole nation. Her story shows that God hears even our silent prayers. Faith means trusting God with our biggest dreams. Hannah's journey from tears to praise gives hope to all who wait. God can turn our deepest sadness into our greatest song. Samuel grew into a lively little boy, filling Hannah's days with joy. When he was old enough, Hannah prepared for the hardest journey, giving him back to God. She and Elkanah brought Samuel to Shiloh, along with a special offering. This time, the trip was filled with purpose, not pain. Hannah approached Eli, saying, I am the woman who prayed for this child. The Lord granted my request. She continued, Now I give him to the Lord for his whole life. With faith and love, she handed Samuel over to serve God. It was a sacrifice only a mother of great faith could make. Hannah kept her promise, trusting God with her most precious gift. The moment was bittersweet, painful, yet full of peace. Eli welcomed Samuel, and Hannah's vow was fulfilled. She walked away, her heart full of faith. Hannah's act of trust was complete. She had given her son and her heart to God. Her faith became a legacy. Sometimes, the greatest love is letting go. God remembered Hannah. In time, her dream came true. She was going to have a baby. The silence in her home was broken by a newborn's cry. Hannah's heart overflowed with joy as she held her son. She named him Samuel, meaning heard by God. Her sorrow turned to thankfulness. The house was filled with laughter and love. Hannah cherished every moment with Samuel. She never forgot her promise to God. When the family went to Shiloh, Hannah stayed home, caring for her son. She told Elkanah, After he is weaned, I will take him to the Lord. She treasured these early years, pouring love into Samuel. Each day was a miracle, a gift from God. Hannah's identity changed, no longer barren, but a joyful mother. Her promise to God was always in her heart. After Eli's blessing, Hannah felt a new peace. The heavy cloud over her heart began to lift. She believed God had heard her, and hope returned. For the first time in years, she ate and joined her family. The festival sounds became music, not pain. She worshipped God with quiet trust, not desperate pleading. The mean words of Peninnah lost their power. Hannah's home felt peaceful, full of possibility. She went about her days with renewed spirit. She had done all she could, prayed, promised, and trusted. Now she waited with hope, not despair. In the waiting, she found strength. Her faith, tested by sorrow, emerged stronger. Hannah's heart was ready for whatever God would do. As Hannah prayed silently, Eli the priest watched her. He saw her lips move but heard no words and thought she was drunk. He confronted her, misunderstanding her pain. Hannah replied, I am not drunk. I am pouring out my soul to the Lord. She explained her anguish with honesty and humility. Eli realized his mistake and saw her true faith. He blessed her, saying, Go in peace. May God grant your request. Eli's words were a balm to Hannah's wounded heart. For the first time, someone understood her pain. The blessing was a sign of hope, a confirmation that God had heard. Hannah left with a lighter heart, her burden shared and acknowledged. Her honest prayer had been seen by both God and man. The misunderstanding turned into a moment of grace. Eli's blessing gave Hannah new courage. She walked away changed, her faith affirmed. Sometimes, even silent prayers are the loudest in God's ears. In her deepest pain, Hannah made a vow to God. She promised, Lord, if you give me a son, I will give him back to you for all his life. This was more than a plea, it was surrender. She offered her greatest dream to God, trusting his plan over her own. Hannah's prayer was no longer about getting, but about giving. She was willing to let go of what she wanted most. Her faith turned her sorrow into an offering. She laid her longing at God's feet, saying, "Your will, not mine." This vow changed everything. It was a turning point, a moment of deep faith. Hannah's broken heart became a vessel for hope. She trusted God completely, even with her greatest desire. Her promise was a prayer God could not ignore. In that moment, Hannah's faith shone brighter than her pain. The journey to Shiloh was meant to be joyful, but for Hannah, it was a painful reminder of her empty arms. Surrounded by families, she sat in silence, her heart aching. Elkanah tried to comfort her, but he couldn't understand her deep sorrow. Peninnah's cruel words made Hannah feel forgotten by God. Her grief was overwhelming, a silent scream locked inside. She wept bitterly, year after year, as hope grew fragile. The waiting was the hardest part, praying, hoping, and seeing nothing change. Her sadness was a constant companion, heavy and unspoken. She brought her broken heart to God, desperate for relief. In the noise of the festival, Hannah's pain was all she could feel. She had tried everything, but nothing eased her longing. Her sorrow filled every space, leaving no room for words. At Shiloh, she reached the end of herself. All she could do was lay her pain before God. She was empty, but she still believed. In her darkest moment, she turned to the only one who could heal her. Hannah's silent prayer was her last hope. But Hannah had a secret strength, her faith in God. She spoke to him in whispers, sharing her pain and dreams. Even when words failed, she believed God heard her heart. Her faith was a small, steady light in her darkness. When Peninnah's words hurt, Hannah turned to God. She trusted that God saw every tear. In Shiloh's busy crowds, Hannah found quiet corners to pray. Her prayers weren't just requests. They were honest conversations with her Creator. She believed her worth came from God, not from having children. This trust anchored her through the hardest days. Her relationship with God was her refuge. She could be herself, broken, honest, and loved. Each year, she poured out her heart, planting seeds of hope. Her faith gave her strength to face each day. She endured the pain, believing God's love was bigger than her sorrow. Hannah's hope was quiet but unbreakable. She held onto God's hand, waiting for light to break through. In her loneliness, she was never truly alone. Long ago, there lived a man named Elkanah with a big family. He had 2 wives, Peninnah, who had many children, and Hannah, who had none. Peninnah's side of the house was filled with laughter and noise. Hannah's side was quiet. Too quiet. Her heart ached for a child, a longing that nothing could fill. Elkanah loved Hannah deeply and gave her a special gift each year at Shiloh, God's holy place. But even his love couldn't ease her sadness. Peninnah often reminded Hannah of what she lacked, making her pain worse. Every year at Shiloh, Peninnah's words stung like little stones, and Hannah would weep, unable to eat. Despite having a loving husband and a home, Hannah's deepest desire remained unfulfilled. The silence in her home was a constant reminder of what was missing. The laughter from Peninnah's children only deepened her loneliness. Hannah carried this invisible weight every day. She longed for a child to love, a baby to hold. Her sadness was a dark thread in her life's tapestry. Elkanah tried to comfort her, but the ache remained. Hannah's heart felt locked, the key out of reach. She watched other mothers with envy and sorrow. The emptiness in her arms mirrored the emptiness in her heart. Each year, hope faded a little more. Yet she endured, holding onto a fragile hope. Her pain was deep, but her spirit was not broken. She waited, she wept, and she wondered if her prayer would ever be answered. The missing piece in her family was the center of her world. And so, Hannah's story began with longing and silent tears.